All right, I just want to let everybody know the EGE basketball game is available. I have been working on this and playtesting it over the last couple of weeks. Took it with me out of town and polished it. Everything was written, of course, in notebooks for playtesting, etc. So I had to get it all typed up. But it is done and it is available. It is a 37-page perfect bound paperback. Requires 2d6 to play. For those who are familiar with my EGE system, that is the Bloodsport Gladiator system, the Tally Ho system, the 1-0 system. You can get the EGE free game engine book. I made that a Creative Commons so people can use that engine to create their own games. But also you can get 1-0 Gladiators, all available free. You can also purchase the books on Lulu, but this version is book only. It contains rules for pro and college basketball. It is only about 24 pages of rules. There's another, you have to have a certain minimum to get perfect paper bound, so I put in note pages. So some of the pages in the book will be blank for you to, actually it might be 30 pages, about 7 blank pages, I can't recall exactly, but those blank pages are required to get to perfect paper bound. I don't want this to be saddle stitched. I want this to be a perfect bound paperback. But that allows you to scribble notes and homebrews and tweaks and your own players and leagues or something if you wanted to write in the book. But so those who are familiar with the EGE system, it is simply the most elegant game engine I have personally ever created. This will allow you, with one roll of the dice, to track both teams totally per turn. A turn represents a certain amount of minutes on the court. But one roll will tell you everyone who scored, everyone who got a stop, everyone who scored a rebound, a steal, a block. It's really fast, really elegant, and great fun. A single roll of the dice will tell you on both sides of the court who scored, if there's a defensive stop, if there was a steal or a rebound, and you can play it quickly. The pro game takes about anywhere from 24 to 30 rolls to complete a game, in case there are personal fouls. And the college game takes anywhere from 20 to 30 rolls in case there are personal fouls. So again, for those who are familiar with my Tally Ho war game, my gladiatorial arena combat, mass combat game, so they're all mass. So Tally Ho is a mass war game. It allows you in one roll of the dice to conduct the battlefield. And of course, 1-0 with one roll of the dice, that segment of time allows you to see what happened on the field. 1-0 was never published in a book. It was only ever given away as a free example. You can find, there's an actual video on my channel where I create 1-0 live for people to see. And then I typed it up and put it available as a free PDF. So I was able to make 1-0 live in a video so people could see how easy the game system could work. Obviously, all the games are easy to tweak and change. So basketball is finally done, and I'm working on hockey. So I was working on both basketball and hockey at the same time. Hockey is I have a couple of design dilemmas, personal design dilemmas. For those who don't know, again, EGE to me is outstanding for this because it's one roll per turn, and that tells you how all 20 basketball players, what they do in that 2 minutes or whatever it might be. It's abstract, heavily abstracted, but you don't have to worry about who's on the court and who's playing and who's doing what. One roll of the dice will tell you everybody who scored, everybody who got a defensive stop, everyone again. So it is fantastic. And but hockey, I'm still trying to decide whether I want one roll of the dice to dictate goals or shots on goal. And you can imagine if hockey is a goal-based game, there's going to be just a few rolls per period per game because you'll be rolling to see if people score goals like the hockey game or the soccer game. So the soccer game, you have so many segments of time that tick off as you make a single roll to determine who scores goals, who stops, who whatever happens. I kind of want hockey to be a little more nuanced, but that's going to require secondary roles or maybe even tertiary roles. So those who don't know, the EGE system is a one-roll system per turn. So I roll one dice, and that die is compared to the array of all combatants, all fighters, all military things, all basketball players, all soccer players in one roll. And then we go to the next segment of time and do it again. So the game engine features variables that have an array of numbers that can do a thing. And the dice just tell you how everybody in that segment of time does its thing. So the soccer game will tell you whether somebody, again, tried to score a goal or could score a goal or whatever. But hockey, I'm debating on doing that as shots on goal instead of goals, which means I got to then have a goalie stop, right? I got to then have a save check, and which means at minimum a secondary roll. And if I were to do a shot roll plus a goalie save roll, that gets into 3 rolls per person who might earn a shot. So imagine that we have 17 players on a hockey roster, and on every roll, all 17 players could be activated. Again, abstractly, they're not all on the ice together, but they would be abstracted in that amount of time. So you could have your third line right winger have shots on goal, and you don't have to know who's exactly on the ice. Again, the game is meant to simulate the sport quickly. But then, let's say I have, of those, let's just say it's 30 total players, that I have 8 people to resolve. That's 8 secondary shots and then rolls, and then maybe 8 tertiary rolls. So in one roll of the dice, it could turn into 3 rolls of the dice for 8 or 9, maybe more, right? So I can do it. That's not a question of whether I can do it. It's a question of what I want the EGE games to do. And I don't want them to require second and third and fourth rolls. Many of you who follow me know that I want dice rolls to have great meaning. And of course, for that to be true, when you roll them, they need to decide something or they need to dictate something. And in solo games like EGE, one roll of the dice is going to dictate whether gladiators are damaged or killed, or whether, animals or soldiers in the arena are damaged or killed, or right. And so we're rolling the dice and we're looking around the arena to see all the action. And then we go to the next segment of time. In basketball, it's going to see who scores, who gets a stop, who. So a basketball player could conceivably, in a single roll of the dice, a basketball player could score 4 points, get a rebound, and stop an opposing player. So a basketball player could conceivably do all 3 of those things in one roll of the dice, right? Okay. Anyway, for those who are curious or enjoy my EGE engine, this is a fantastic version of it via basketball. Again, hockey, it's not a matter of what I want to do. It's not a matter of what I can do. It's a matter of, do I want to do it a certain way? And it's holding me up from completing the hockey game. Basketball is so smooth. It's just so perfect for this system. I would argue soccer. Again, I made soccer very quickly in one video, and then I tweaked it and fine-tuned it before I put out the PDF, but soccer probably deserved a little more attention, and I would have been able to make a smoother, easier to play soccer game. So EGE is elegant and simple, but I think my soccer game is a little complicated because of form, because certain players get to go and other players don't, and that can become a kind of a complicated step. But only one roll of dice is ever needed per turn. In basketball, everything just complements itself beautifully. I'll know if a guy got a block on a die roll, and there might be multiple blocks. It could be 3 players who get blocks in a segment of time, right? There would have been a real defensive segment, steals, personal fouls, etc. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned. I am currently in the playtesting, but more the decision-making process of hockey. How do I want the EGE system to best simulate hockey? And I'm torn between shots on goal and just goal chances. Goal chances jives better with EGE. but shots on goal create more drama. So, as you can imagine, I want the drama, but I also want the games to be resolved without rolling 30 times, in one turn, right? Okay. Everybody out there have a fantastic, fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.